G'day there guys, it's Connie here again from Marquee Industries and welcome to some more stories from Reddit. As always, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to hit like and subscribe and also the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Also, don't worry, me and Jack can assure you that Marquee is safe and well. He's safe. We promise. Okie dokie, we are on relationships. This one was written by user PlentyAd and it's titled, "My fiance and I are having serious issues after her sister interfered with my family's issues." Throwaway account for obvious reasons. My fiance and I have been together 3.5 years, engaged for 18 months and getting married in May. I thought things were wonderful, but we have hit a major problem. I work in the shipping industry and was away from home for the majority of this. Sorry for the long post, got a lot of background that led to this. A little background. My sister and fiance were best friends through our relationship. I'm very close with my sister and my parents. My fiance is very close with her sister, and we thought of everyone as our own families. Recently, this last year, my sister left her mentally abusive husband for another guy. Her new guy has a bad past and criminal record, and rightfully so, everyone is skeptical of the guy. But my sister's relationship with her new boyfriend is a whole other thing that I'm not going to get into. Not my business, as long as she's safe and happy. Since she's been with this new guy, my fiancée has been very vocal about her opinion of him, that he is a criminal. That has put a strain on their friendship, of course. A little over 3 weeks ago, while going over wedding planning, my fiancée told me she did not want my sister's boyfriend at any of our wedding festivities. She said she was going to approach my sister about it. A few days later, she was afraid to and asked me to confront her about this. I told her I would handle it. Knowing this request would hurt my sister's feelings, I asked my mum for advice on how to handle the situation and how best to approach my sister about this. My mother became upset over it and was afraid that if I'd asked my sister this, it would hurt my relationship with my sister. I knew it would hurt feelings, but I wanted to try and find a compromise somewhere in all of this. After the conversation with my mum, I told my fiancé how it went and that it upset my mum. I wanted to give everyone time to cool off, as we still have 3 months till the wedding date. I asked my fiancée to please be patient, as this was not an easy subject to approach. My fiancée was none too happy about my mum's reaction and was upset as well. Later that night, my fiancée and her sister had a long FaceTime call and vented to her about her frustrations. This becomes a problem later. A few days pass. Unbeknownst to me, my mum had a chat with my sister and agreed to not bring her boyfriend. At this point, they hadn't told either my fiancé or I about it. Then my sister's ex-husband receives an anonymous message on Facebook telling him how my sister cheated on him and left him for a criminal. It was full of half-truths and assumptions, and coincidentally, the few truths it included were things my sister had only ever told 2 people, my mum and my fiancé. Once the ex-husband told my sister about the message, crap hit the fan. Next day, I was unaware of the anonymous message until my fiancée told me she had to tell me something. She told me that her sister sent an anonymous message to my sister's ex-husband telling him what she thought was the truth. Fiancée says she only vented to her sister and that her sister took it upon herself to tell the ex-husband. The message included things that were only told to my mum and fiancé, so of course number one suspect was my fiancé as the culprit of the message, but no one thought she was capable of this. I told my fiancée it would be best if her sister confessed and cleared fiancé's name. She was upset over it all, but agreed and talked to her sister. The next morning, I awoke to a crapstorm of a group text. Fiancé's sister confessed in a group chat, including myself, fiancé, my sister, and my mother. She confessed and explained herself, and as you can expect, there were a few heated words at first, but it seems like things were being cleared up. That was until my fiancé decided that was a good idea to get drunk and tell everyone off. Well, then it became just my fiancé telling my mum and my sister how horrible they are in this whole ordeal, and how much my fiancé hated my sister's boyfriend. It went on for a couple hours of texts. I woke up the next morning to find out about all of this. At first I was confused and upset, trying to figure out what happened, and trying to keep peace between my family and fiancé. She thinks I took my family's side and not her side, when I was on her side until she had the drunken outburst. My fiancé even so much as laughed about my family being upset. This was 2 weeks ago to the day. Over the next week we didn't talk much, a few heated words, but we agreed to give it time to cool off and try to approach this level-headed. After a week, unknown to me, my mum came by to try and talk with my fiance over things. Fiance was in driveway leaving for work when my mum came by and told her she couldn't talk right then. Later that night, fiance sent an angry barrage of texts to my mum, blaming my mum for everything. I have a sneaking suspicion that fiance was drunk again during this. As I work on ships, I was out of town. I'd gotten off work early specifically to come home and work things out, as it's difficult to do these things while away for so long. This was 11 days after the anonymous message, and I was at the airport on my way home. At this point, I thought things were calming down, and we might be able to talk it out calmly. I received several texts from fiance about how she refused to pick me up at the airport and wanted to stay in the guest bedroom when I got home. My parents ended up picking me up at the airport. That was when I found out about the angry texts fiance had sent my mum the night before. I arrived home and had a sit-down chat with fiance finally 3 days ago. From what she says, she has no regret and refuses to apologize for the way she acted. She sincerely thinks that her sister was right in sending the anonymous message. We both agreed to stop talking about it for the day before one of us gets too upset and prevents it from turning into a yelling match. It's been 3 days and we've hardly spoken to each other in the house. Myself, I can't stand by and let someone intentionally hurt my family. I've talked with my family about it, and they're willing to give fiancé another chance on my behalf. My fiancé says she refuses to be anywhere near my family and thinks I've chosen their side, while I've been trying to keep the peace between everyone. Is there some way I can approach this and still keep both my family and fiancé? Wow, what a mess. I mean, if the fiancé's first instinct is to get drunk and flame everyone in the group chat, that's not a very good indicator of what your future's going to look like. Let's go to the comments. Don't marry a problematic drunk who's mentally 12 years old. That's my absolute best advice in your situation, because this type of thing tends to only get worse. Definitely will get worse if he marries her. Pretty soon, OP may only talk and see his family once in a while because the wife still holds a grudge. Then once there are kids, she'll probably use the kids to get the upper hand, and kids probably won't have a relationship with his side of the family. Her true colours are coming out. There was never going to be a good reason for your sister-in-law to stir up drama with your sister's abusive ex-husband. Sorry, but your fiancé is more concerned with being right than doing right. This is not a good trait in a life partner. Yeah, just completely unnecessary drama to this extent too. I agree with others, OP. Pause the wedding until you two sort this out. Maybe she'll see the light, maybe she won't, but from what you've shared, she sounds awfully determined to judge others and get involved where she doesn't need to. Drunk dialing a partner's family is not frickin' okay either, by the way. Jesus Christ, is she 16? Halt the wedding planning. You both need more time to come together or break up. Your fiancé disrespected you and your family, gossiping and creating drama rather than letting you do what you both agreed to do. She is refusing to see what damage her actions did. She will drive a wedge between you and your family, and that it will carry over between the two of you. I mean, do you want to keep your fiancé? She sounds like a drama llama, somebody who has no trouble burning multiple bridges in a blaze of glory. Think of how differently this could have gone if she hadn't decided to go scorched earth everywhere. She could have said, I don't feel comfortable with this guy with a criminal past at my wedding, and maybe told the sister you guys are keeping a tighter wedding budget and a guest list, and she can't bring a +1. Simple. Instead, she blabs something she was probably told to keep a secret to her own sister, who then messages the ex-husband. Like, why? It's so unnecessary. And all this leads to further drama, further hurt, and now she's not admitting fault to any of it. At the very least, I would expect her to be mortified this got so out of hand, and maybe blamed some of her actions on alcohol consumption. Not that this excuses any of it. Your family sounds very graceful. I would just think hard if this kind of a person is somebody you truly want to spend the rest of your life with. How many more fires are you going to find the next time you go out of town for a work thing? She's not even willing to admit fault, which is not promising this won't happen again and again and again. Oof. Yeah, hard to disagree with those comments there. Okie dokie, on to an update. Well, first off, I'd like to thank each and everyone that replied to my original post. A couple of the replies were a little harsh, but looking back, that is exactly what I needed to hear. I broke up with my fiance almost 2 weeks ago, and when we sat down to talk, she was still adamant that what her sister did was the right thing and didn't care that it hurt my family. She didn't apologize, showed no remorse or any sort of sign that she would be willing to work with me on this. This left me with no choice but to break up with her. The first couple days were quiet, a lot of crying and sleeping in different rooms, no arguing or fighting. Then she went to stay at a friend's house 2 days later, and that is when things got bad. She would purposely come back to the house only when I wasn't there and bring her sister with her, took a few more things from the house than we agreed upon, and her sister decided my couch was a great place to change a dirty diaper for her baby, including leaving a leaking dirty diaper on the couch for me to find. Then, the next few days, she started a smear campaign on social media and lies told to friends. Myself, I've stayed quiet on the social media regarding the breakup and keeping my distance, trying to let things cool down. I've now blocked my now ex-fiancé on every platform, including emails, as it was nothing but her trying to drag me into an argument that would go nowhere. Thank you, kind Redditors, that helped me see the light. I had a hunch that things weren't all that great, but I needed some strangers to tell me to pull my head out of my ass. Yeah, I'd say that's for the best. On to some final comments. So sorry you have to experience this. Just focus on how lucky you really are to have dodged that bullet. Damn, she would have been an entitled nightmare of a wife. Good for you. I hope your sister doesn't feel guilty about it. I would worry that it might happen. Opie says, I've already talked with my sister about it. Apparently there have been times in the past that ex-fiancé had gotten drunk and tried to start crap with my sister about me. My sister didn't tell me about this until after the breakup, but apparently it contributed to my sister distancing herself from my ex. How did her new boyfriend react to all of this? Have you talked with him as well? Opie says, he actually laughed it off. I was surprised he reacted so well. Probably reacted the best out of everyone involved, lol. I just read the original post and then this one. I also would like to add that your former fiancé and your family are very judgmental. Just because your sister's boyfriend had done bad in the past doesn't make him a bad person. People deserve second chances. If he is treating your sister right, he should have been invited to the wedding as her guest. But your ex showed her true colours, so good on you for seeing that. He replies, after all this has transpired, my family has given her boyfriend a chance. He has been very upfront with his past, and has actually been a big help with some family business. He seems very sincere about becoming a better person. I hope this holds true, as other Redditors have pointed out. Both my sister and I haven't had the best choices in previous partners, lol. I find it surprising that you didn't know how drama-prone she was after 3.5 years. I wonder if that is because she was able to hide her drinking and personality deficits because you are on ships a lot. Maybe something to consider for the next woman who comes along. Opie replies, when I came home unexpectedly, I found 7 empty alcohol bottles throughout the house, as well as overflowing trash and old dog poop from the bad freeze over Texas a few weeks ago. These were those big-handle, almost gallon-sized alcohol bottles of gin and rum, and they weren't there 3 weeks prior before I left. It looked like something from a hoarder. For a long time, just a few days before I would return home, she would complain about having to clean the entire house. Now I know why. Every time I came home, the house was decently clean, but never looked like she'd spent days cleaning. She had been hiding the true amount she was drinking from me while I was gone all this time. Wow, there you go. Yeah, that's wild. And I suppose Opie working on ships made it easier for her to do so, that's for sure. What do you guys think about this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, that's all we've got from that story, and we'll move on to the next one. Alrighty, we're on relationship advice. This one was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, Wife of 7 years cheated on me. Now everyone in my circle, friends, her parents, and my parents, are suggesting me to take her back. Don't know what to do. I met my wife 10 years ago. We both were in college, dated for 3 years, and married for 7. She is a beautiful and amazing person, and everyone in my family loves her. 4 months ago, I found out my wife was having an affair with a mutual friend of ours. It was a 1.5-month affair. She was acting very shady at that time. She would ignore my messages, turn me down every time I tried to initiate sex. I thought something was wrong. I did snooping, but found nothing. Eventually, I hired a private investigator. Within 1 week, I got proof. She was having an affair with our mutual friend. I immediately confronted her, and she confessed having an affair. Immediately she started crying, begging, basically all the classic cheater moves when they're caught. I asked her for all the details, with a detailed timeline. At night she gave me everything. Basically she was using another phone for having the affair. She told me she had sex with him only 4 times, and the rest of the time they were just hanging out and having fun. 3 days later, more crying and talking crap about herself, and she told me that she'd deleted all contacts with him and will do whatever it takes to make our marriage work. She suggested marriage cancelling. I denied. I told her to leave me alone. I was hurt, betrayed, humiliated. She moved out to her parents. She started texting me every hour about how much she loves me and how she regrets this and will do anything to save our marriage. After completely ignoring her for 2 days, I texted her that we're getting divorced. She freaked out and started having emotional breakdowns. My phone started blowing up with her parents, sister, friends telling me to not end the marriage and at least give her a chance. Later that day, she made a long post on Facebook explaining how she messed up and how she destroyed her marriage, basically admitting her affair publicly. But I was rock solid on my decision. She even insisted to have a lie detector test to clear my doubts, that she never cheated in the past, blah blah blah. I asked her for some time alone to process all of this. We've been living separate since. This was all 4 months ago. Last week I asked her for the divorce and she started crying, begging for another chance. After that she visited my parents and asked them to convince me not to divorce. Last night, my parents and her parents tried to convince me to work things out, and after she made her Facebook post, almost all of our mutual friends were telling me how she was brave to admit her affair, and that she loves me and I should at least give her a chance. I'm on an edge of having a breakdown. She is truly remorseful and regrets this, I can assure you this. I do love her, and her cheating on me hurts the most. I don't know what to do. Anyone who is reconciled, how are things going on? Nah, man, I mean, it's easy for everyone else to say on the outside to be like, oh yeah, just forgive her, it's not that big of a deal. But for OP, clearly it is a big deal, and that's all that matters here. Like, how long would this affair have gone on if he hadn't figured it out? She's not remorseful at all, she's sorry for herself. OP makes a small update. First off, thanks to each and every one of you. The amount of support I got in the last 15 hours was unbelievable. I'm sorry I couldn't reply to your comments and PMs. I'm trying to answer some common questions. We don't have kids. We were planning to have kids after the pandemic is over. We both own a business and we work together. I haven't talked to her in almost 3 months, only business-related stuff. Here's the update. After reading all your comments and PMs, I decided to talk to my parents. I called them and told them that I was going for divorce. After an hour later, she called me crying, not to end it, and told me to at least meet her in person. Since the D-Day, I haven't seen her or talked about the affair. Every time I talked, I ignored the talk about affair. She told me she'll explain everything, at least hear her side of the story, and after hearing it, whatever decision I'll take, she'll respect that. Since I don't know what was going on and don't have much information about the affair, it will be like closure to me. So I've decided to meet her on Sunday. That's it, nothing dramatic. One comment says, her posting on Facebook was pretty manipulative. Your friends and family won't be the ones who get cheated on the next time. If they like her so much, they can have her. If you would have never hired a PI, this would have gone on indefinitely. She's only upset that she got caught. Ignore everyone else. You're the only one who is going to have to live with a cheater for the rest of your life if you accept her back. It's not like she came clean anyways. This will probably happen again as soon as all the drama dies down from it. Stay the course, get divorced, and find someone who doesn't cheat on you. Best of luck to you, buddy. It just blows. No way around it. That it does. On to a final update. Firstly, thank you to all of you. I never expected this kind of response. Update, as decided, we both met on Sunday. She was quite miserable. I haven't seen her in a while. We talked about our relationship. I asked her to take down her Facebook post, which she did. I asked her about the affair, why she cheated on me. She told me that she was dumb and selfish at that time. She didn't blame me for the affair. She told me that they were casually talking and he started talking about his affairs. She showed me text messages of them both, where he was bragging about his fun life outside of marriage. She told me she was curious, and one thing led to another. There were several texts where he was guiding my wife how to hide the affair. He suggested her to buy another phone and always keep it in the car. I took screenshots of everything. She then asked me for forgiveness. I forgave her, but I couldn't get past this. Divorce was my default option from the beginning. She begged to try marriage counseling. She told me that she'll never date anyone else ever again. If she does, it would be me. I don't really care. We will still work together, as this was both of our dream project. As for our mutual friend, last I heard was his wife and him decided to reconcile, as kids were involved. I really feel sad for his wife. She didn't know what kind of a monster he is. We are getting divorced. I've decided not to be in a relationship ever again. Ever again? Gee, that's a bit grim. Some final comments. Ha ha ha, this post made me laugh. So why did you have the affair? Well, we were talking and the subject of affairs came up and it just sounded like something I wanted to try. I hope you burst out laughing when she said that. She told me she will never date anyone else ever again. If she does, it would be me. What kind of emotionally manipulative BS is this? She's trying to guilt trip you and she's lying. She acts sorry, but ultimately you only found out about this because you hired an investigator. She had no intention of confessing to you. I'm glad you're not giving her a second chance. Go find someone that can give you respect. Here, I agree. All of her grovelling and half-assed apologies just seemed so shallow. What are your thoughts on this? Would this be something you're willing to reconcile over, or would it be a deal breaker for you? Let me know down below. Anyway, we're leaving that story there and moving on once again. Okie dokie, this next one's from Am I the A-hole? It was written by a throwaway account as well, and it's titled, Am I the a-hole for asking my boyfriend to stop wearing suits outside of work? I know this sounds weird, but here goes. I've been dating my boyfriend for 2 years. We met in a grief counselling group after losing our spouses. Everything in this relationship has been great. Our kids get along great. I even got a Mother's Day card from his son, thanking me for making his dad smile again. It was sweet. My daughter, 19, adores my boyfriend. I was surprised how fast they hit it off because she's very shy, but I didn't want to question it, so I let it go. But as time went on, things got weird. On Valentine's Day, he got me a bouquet and a rose for her, and she still has it hanging in her room. She gets up early every morning to make him a latte, and every night when he gets home, she's waiting in the kitchen with a beer and a sandwich for him. He has back problems, so she bought him a computer chair with massaging rollers on it, which ticked me off because I am a masseuse. I can take care of this man's back just fine. I refuse to be replaced by an effing chair. I asked my daughter why she keeps doing this stuff, and she said she just likes him. I asked why to see if I could get more info, and she started listing things. He's nice, smart, funny, blah blah blah, but what stuck out was when she said she loves the way he dresses. My boyfriend is a funeral director, so he always wears black suits. When I first started dating him, my daughter would always call him sharp-dressed man, saying things like, "Are you going to go see that sharp-dressed man again?" Or, "When do I get to meet your new sharp-dressed man, Mum?" My daughter always says she wants to marry a man in a suit, so I assumed this was her way of showing approval. But now I'm starting to wonder if there's more. I've been wanting to suggest that he stop wearing suits outside work, but he loves his suits. We just bought a house together, and I know he's been looking at rings. This man is a chess champion who speaks 6 languages, yet doesn't know how to close his laptop when going to the bathroom, lol. So I'm invested in this relationship. I love this man and I want to marry him, but I'm afraid if I tell him what's on my mind, he'll kick my daughter out. This all came to a head last night when we were watching a movie and she went up to get drinks. When she came back, she handed my boyfriend his beer and then tried to sit in his lap. I say tried because my boyfriend pushed her off and angrily told her that what she did was inappropriate. He stormed up to our bedroom and I followed him up to talk to him. He started saying that my daughter should start looking elsewhere to stay, but I told him about the suit thing, and that maybe if he just wore normal clothes outside work, she wouldn't act so weird. He told me I was being ridiculous, and we went to bed. I made him breakfast this morning, but he left to go eat instead. He says he's in the McDonald's parking lot right now, but we're going to have a serious talk when he gets home. I don't know what to think. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, I think it's safe to say that this is going far beyond the clothes that he's wearing. Let's go to the comments. You're the a-hole. You sound like one of those people that say the way the person was dressed was why they were assaulted. It's your daughter's fault, not his clothes. Yes, imagine if the roles were reversed. If the boyfriend's son was coming onto OP, and instead of talking to the son about it, boyfriend suggested OP change the way she dresses. You're the a-hole, OP, and you need to have a long talk with your daughter about what's appropriate behaviour. But also, you may want to look into counselling for her. Perhaps some of this stems from the loss of her dad. Another comment adds, completely agree. Also, it seems OP's boyfriend's angry response implies that he knows exactly what's going on and feels uncomfortable. Yeah, seriously. Also, the way he was so quick to tell OP that her daughter should move makes me think something else happened before the lap sit attempt, aside from gifts. You're the a-hole. Your daughter is being really inappropriate, crossing the line into creepy with him, and instead of handling her, you're blaming her behaviour on his clothing. You need to sit her down and have an extremely firm talk about consent and boundaries, and let him wear his damn suit. You're the a-hole just a bit, but I don't blame you for hoping for an easy fix. This could be a powder keg. If your boyfriend is a high-quality dude, your daughter is probably making him very nervous. She's not a child. First, tell her that her behaviour is making boyfriend uncomfortable and is rude. How long ago did your husband pass away? She may want a father figure or have a crush or a real fixation. The fact that he had such an angry reaction hints that she may have tried to be inappropriate before. Is he living with you, in your house, in his? She probably needs some counselling. She is struggling with something. I wouldn't put my 19-year-old out of the house on the say-so of my boyfriend, but listen to what he has to say, and listen to whatever your daughter will share about her feelings. Then get her to counselling, and maybe some family counselling as well. OP replies, quote, how long ago did your husband pass away? She may want a father figure. Unfortunately, I think this may be the root of the problem. My late husband wasn't a bad father to her, but he did often play favourites with our son, and it really hurt her. He did his best to not make it obvious, but she could tell. That's why she's always been very close to me. Another commenter adds, unfortunately, this sounds like a coping mechanism for your daughter, and you all would benefit from getting her counselling. Sometimes young women try inappropriate romantic tactics to obtain love or approval or attention when they've come to believe that being their normal self is not enough. This is the root of the cliché daddy issues people throw around. The insecurities she has just magnified tenfold because since her father died, there's now never going to be a chance for her to get the approval she so desperately needed. She may be trying to get fatherly attention in a completely wrong way because her self-esteem is so low and this person is safe, i.e., he's my mum's boyfriend, of course I don't like him like that. It sounds like you and your boyfriend have a good relationship. I recommend making sure he knows you're on his side about this. Your clothing comments were because you were afraid, and it felt like a no-win situation, but you understand your daughter is in the wrong. Meanwhile, tell your daughter she can only live with you if she gets therapy. OP says, this comment has given me a lot to think about. Thank you for your input. Alrighty, she updates the next day. Update on our conversation. Well, it turns out some of you were right, and there was a lot of crap I didn't know about. An entire crap show's worth, in fact. My boyfriend showed me several disturbing text messages. No actual propositioning or anything, just weird stuff like, I miss you, and are you awake at 2 a.m, etc. And apparently my daughter had confided in him about a close friendship she had with her basketball coach right after her dad died. My boyfriend said he'd kept it a secret because she begged him not to tell me, and he didn't want to break her trust. I, of course, was incredibly hurt to hear this, but at the same time I understand why he didn't tell me. Apparently, he is the only person she's ever talked to about this. It turns out my daughter has basically been treating my boyfriend like a private therapist for the past several months, and he didn't tell me because he wanted to help her. He chalked up all the favours to her just showing gratitude for lending an ear, and didn't realise how she might have felt differently before last night. He apologised for insisting on kicking her out, and I apologised for the stupid comments about his suits. It was a comment I made out of being in denial, and now I realise she needs therapy. When I first started grief counselling, I did ask my kids if they wanted counselling. They both said no, and I didn't want to force it on them. When I sat my daughter down to talk about the boundary issue, she burst into tears and started apologizing. I had an extremely uncomfortable but necessary conversation with her, and I told her that I'm going to start looking for a therapist. I didn't tell her that I know about the basketball coach because I don't want her to feel betrayed, and I'm hoping a professional will be able to get it out of her in a more sensitive and controlled manner. But so help me God, if that mother ever shows his face in my hometown again, and she asks me why I'm in jail, I guess I'll have to tell her I know about it then. But for now, her healing from the past is my main priority, because it really does seem like her dad screwed her up far worse than I thought. My boyfriend and I have made up, and no one is getting kicked out, but things are still pretty awkward. She's basically quarantined herself in the basement. For now, we all just need some space, and my boyfriend has already helped me find some good therapists in our area. Geez, it took a bit of digging, but we got to a sensible ending there. Let's read some final comments. Opie's 19-year-old daughter wants to sit on the lap of the 52-year-old boyfriend, and Opie thinks the problem is him wearing suits. She was also worried about being replaced by a massage chair. When Opie is so deep in denial, I thought the title was wrong halfway through the first post. Props on the boyfriend. He's the sanest adult here, only counting him, Opie, and the coach. Wow, when people say certain things are above Reddit's pay grade, I feel like this would be one. I'm glad people encouraged therapy for the daughter. The mum's reaction feels a little icky to me all around, but I guess I can understand her wanting a quick fix and not wanting to face the truth. Yeah, if only it were that easy, right? Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts about that one? Let me know in the comments below. Either way, moving on once again. Alrighty, back on relationships. This one was written by user Practical Bell, and it's titled, My husband got fired for harassing a coworker and won't talk to me about it. My husband, Charlie, and I have been together for 10 years, married for 6. We've had our ups and downs, but are currently in an up. He has never done anything like this in the past, so it came out of left field for me, and I'm very much shocked and at a loss here. Charlie is a computer programmer and was a senior engineer at his former company, where he had worked for 4 years. He'd never had any trouble with co-workers, and we're both friendly with a few of them, mostly other men and their wives. On Friday of last week, he came home around 11 a.m. and told me he'd been fired. He was really upset and agitated, and I didn't want to push him about it, but he told me they said he'd been harassing a co-worker and was fired. The information I've been able to get out of him. The co-worker is Beth, a junior engineer who he's never mentioned to me before. He said she's terrible at her job. Beth slept with a senior engineer we're both friendly with, Darren. Darren wasn't involved in the harassment and wasn't fired, etc. The company's lawyers were there, and among the things they told him was that Beth could have pressed charges but chose not to. Something happened with her car, but he won't say what. His exact words were, "There was something with her car." He was escorted off the premises and is not allowed back in the building to get his belongings, and instead has to arrange with security to pick them up after business hours. As far as anything else goes, he won't give me any details. He isn't interested in seeing a lawyer because he says everything is legal. He has basically admitted to sending Beth some emails, but won't say what they said or anything like that. I don't know if Beth sleeping with Darren had to do with it, but the fact that he gave me that detail makes me think it does. I'm not sure how it relates. Darren is a very nice, single man who's in his late 20s and approximately the same age as Beth. My mind is running wild here. Charlie has been depressed and withdrawn all weekend, won't talk to me about it, and won't talk much in general. I work remotely, so I was home all day with him, and he played video games all day and then went to bed at 6 p.m. The fact that he won't tell me anything and isn't interested in seeing a lawyer makes me think that it's bad, and makes me worry that everything is true and not just a misunderstanding or a small thing blown out of proportion. He has never been flirtatious with other women or cruel to them, and he's never said anything bad about other women engineers he works with. I don't know what to do here. My instinct is to be supportive of my husband, but I don't know what kind of behavior I'd be supporting. I don't want to run to his co-workers we know and ask them, since they're more our friends than my friends, and while we spend time together at get-togethers or bars, I'm not so close with them. In an immediate sense, I don't know what to do about helping someone who is so depressed and won't talk to me. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound good, does it? He's going to have to open up at some point. Otherwise, this is just going to keep eating away at OP. Let's go to the comments. I would tell him you have to assume the worst if he won't be honest with you. I've got to say, he must have done bad crap to be escorted off the premises with no warning like that. Either he was hating on her and went over the top, or he tried to bang her and went over the top, or he tried to bang her and then hated on her. Edit, reread it. I'm guessing he tried to bang her, sent crazy emails and vandalized her car. He could easily still be charged criminally and or sued. Someone replies, I've worked at larger companies, and when they fire people, sometimes they're walked right out of the building. The reason is they don't want the fired person to make a scene and rock the boat. It's heartless in my opinion, but it does happen. Something tells me Opie's husband did something terrible because lawyers were there and apparently the girl could have pressed charges. That is very unusual. My guess is Opie's husband got jealous that Darren was sleeping with Beth and not him, as he had a crush on Beth for a while, and he flipped out and went all nice guy on her. He mentioned there are emails, so there is evidence in writing as well. This does not bode well for OP. Seeing as it got so far that he's been fired and he doesn't want to fight it, sounds like the allegations are probably true. The fact that he brings up Darren makes it seem like he's harassed her as a result of sexual jealousy. Does he usually shut down conversation on things? Does he usually keep things from you? I'd be very cautious about what he's hiding and what it means for you and your relationship. Even if it's not sexual and it's just plain old harassment, do you want to be with a grown man who harasses young women to the point he gets fired? Yeah, I think there's an easy answer to that question. Opie updates the next day. My thread was locked before I was able to respond to any of the comments, but I was able to read them this morning. I got up at 5:30 to go to the gym before work, and my husband was still awake playing video games. I presented him with the very good idea someone suggested of sending me an email with the details, but that it wasn't acceptable to shut me out of the situation since it affects me too. His response was basically, "The paperwork is in my car, go get it if you want to read it." I asked him to go get it so we could look at it together, and he said, "You're going to believe what you want anyway." All of this is unusual for our marriage because I'm a pretty patient person, I think. We went out to the car together and he got in his car, handed me the papers and left. For about 2 hours I was panicked because I didn't know where he went, if he was okay, if he was thinking of hurting himself, but his mother texted me at 9 saying he was over there, asking me what happened, if everything is okay, etc. His parents live about 15 minutes away and I guess he told her he's going to be staying there. So the paperwork, according to the paperwork, he sent her multiple harassing emails from anonymous email accounts. The emails are printed out and attached. He apparently did this while at work and they've been monitoring his user account for 3 months. The emails aren't sexual or romantic in nature and are all anonymous and about how she sucks at her job, wouldn't be there if she wasn't a woman, how she should quit before she gets fired, and how everyone in the office hates her. He made fake user accounts for his company's product that she works on and submitted bad reviews of her work. He also did this while logged in at work. He sent an anonymous email to her boss saying that she was sleeping with the senior engineer on another project. He put a gun catalogue on the windshield of her car. I don't know what this gesture means, but I obviously understand that it was meant to be threatening. Unfortunately, inside was a subscription card that the company autofilled with his name and address. She also says she's been harassed for the same length of time, about 3 months, on Twitter. He only logged into one Twitter account that harassed her at work, so they can only say one was him, all telling her to quit her job. So I don't know what to do now. This is all terrifying to me, and I feel so bad for this woman. I have no idea what this is all about. He works with other women engineers, and he's worked with male engineers who don't pull their weight, and he's never done anything like this. I would have bet $1 million that he'd never do anything like this. He's at his parents' right now, and I don't know what my next move here could possibly be. This is so scary and out of left field to me. Opie adds in the comments, I forgot to mention, this paperwork is copied from the original and was signed by both him and his company. I don't know if that's a full admission, but it seems damning either way. Someone replies, time to sit your husband down and give him an ultimatum. He needs to give you his side of the story, or you two are done. This is clearly a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. Your husband needs serious therapy. What you describe is absolutely abhorrent behavior. If he is unwilling to get help about this, or do anything to convince you that he understands how wrong what he did is, you should seriously consider getting as far away from this man as you can. What he did is evil. Wow, and that's the last update we've got for that one so far. Yeah, if I had to guess, he probably got jealous of the relationship between her and Darren, and then got all vindictive about it. I mean, the gun catalogue on the windshield of the car is extremely unhinged. But that last update was a few years ago, so I doubt we're going to get any more updates on that. Just speculation at this point. What do you guys think? Is this something you think you could work out, or would this be the end of the relationship? Let me know in the comments. Anyway guys, that's it from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed those stories. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.